Hi guys, so I'm now a mommy. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey. Yeah, you're looking at the latest mother in town. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I thank God for safe delivery, and it's just, I can't actually put into words what it feels like, honestly speaking. It is like the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life. I look at my son, it sounds nuts saying that. I look at my son and I just feel complete and utter joy. It's like nothing else really matters. I just feel joy. It's like this instant, unconditional love. I mean, it's still surreal, to be quite honest, when I'm looking at him thinking, oh my God, is this my child? You know, but I'm just so thankful, so thankful. So now, I'm here to tell you about the story of my labor. Oh! Okay, so basically it's really early. I had to get up extra early to have a shower and make myself look presentable. It's also my brother's 40th birthday today. Happy birthday today, shout out to you. So we're going for lunch. So I just thought before, feed the baby, put the baby down, let me quickly do this, because or else I'm gonna have to do this in like different segments. But anyway, so the story of my labor. So I don't know if you guys remember in my pregnancy diaries, me saying, quick, short, pain-free birth, natural birth, it coming out your hoo-ha. That's what I want. I didn't want to have a C-section because of the recovery, all of that kind of stuff. Everything I said I didn't want to happen basically happened, okay? So before I even go into it, I just want to talk about labor pain. Okay, so I was induced, right? And the reason I remember saying I didn't want to get induced is because the pain tends to be worse apparently, because you're sort of they're forcing you to go into labor, so everything is heightened, and that's what happened to me. So if you're telling me that labor pain is bad anyway, and then you're not telling me that when you get induced the labor pain is like next level, guys, my sisters, let me level with you, okay? I'm not even gonna lie. Everyone has different pain threshold, don't get me wrong. For some people, you give birth in 2 hours. It took me 48 hours, okay? 48 hours. But that's not the point. The point is, let's just talk about the labor pain before I go through the whole story. Labor pain, Labor pain will humble you. It will humble you. I don't care how hard you are, how tough you are, what you've been through. That labor pain will have you mooing like a cow. Mooing. Like you'll be uttering noises that you have never heard yourself make. Literally. Like my husband's shirts, I was just pulling it, like literally. You know what? Like it is indescribable. So when people say, oh, it's like 10 times your period pain times 10, it's not like that. I had labor pain that was going on for 2 to 3 minutes. What is that? How do you get over something that's lasted 2 to 3 minutes? If it's lasted like 30 seconds, at least you get a breather. Where are you breathing for 2 to 3 minutes? Huh? Where? This wig is looking very strange today, but I mean, I literally look a mess normally, so I guess at least I've just covered my cornrows. I can't wait to just do my normal hair. Anyway, I do feel like I'm just tired. Okay, so let's get into the whole thing. So I was booked for an induction on Tuesday. So you go in Tuesday morning and then they put a pessary up your hoo-ha. Now a pessary, it looks like a tiny tampon and it releases hormone through your cervix to get you to contract and all that. So you go to the hospital, they do that in the morning, they do some other stuff, check you, make sure everything's okay. So you're there for a couple of hours and then they send you home. That's fine. So it happened at 11 in the morning on a Tuesday. I get home, everything's fine, a bit of cramping here and there. And, I'm just like, okay, labor pain, this is what it is. By 4 o'clock, I was having contractions, not too bad, very far apart. So maybe like every 20 minutes. By 8 o'clock, no, 7, was it 7 or 8? I'm having contractions and they're like every 10 minutes. And they're okay. I can talk, you know. So my husband and I are like, oh, let's watch Power. So we put Power on Netflix and we're trying to watch Power. And then all of a sudden, the pain is real. Like, the pain was just, they were just coming every 3 minutes. And I was confused because I thought, hang on, is it like, am I about to give birth today? Like, I was just very confused. Every 3 minutes. So I do not remember Power. Obviously, like, he kept pausing it so that during my contractions, and I was like, we're never going to get through this. Just watch it, you know. But it got to the point where I was now like on the floor because I was in so much pain because they were coming so often. So you didn't really have time to breathe. And then after a while, I was like, you know what? Let's take a taxi. Let's just go to the hospital and see what's going on. But before I did that, obviously trying different things. I'd read up on different things. So there's a thing called the TENS machine that you're supposed to help with like pain. So when I first started having my contractions, I got a hot water bottle and I put it around my stomach area, and that kind of helped soothe things slightly. And then I started to use the TENS machine where you put it on your back. It's I don't know. It's somewhere. I should have bought it so I could show it to you. Basically, they're these like little things that you stick on your back. It like sends like electric. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It sends something. You know those things that like it gives you like a slight electric shock, or those things that people use for their muscles to get them like hard. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, you stick that on your back and then you can raise the intensity of that. And I don't know if it's supposed to like distract from your actual pain. That thing is nonsense. That TENS machine, I'm sorry, that thing just doesn't work. It was awful. It was just irritating. It didn't do anything. After a while, I just chucked it across the room. No, actually, I think I took it with me. I didn't even use it. But anyway, so the pain got so bad. By 11 o'clock, it was so bad. It was just awful. Called a cab, get into a cab, get to the hospital, and I am just like, the pain is so intense. So now it starts to happen every like 2 contractions every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes basically. So they hook me up to a monitor and then they check the baby's heart rate and then they check your contractions. And I'm lying there for 40 minutes screaming my head off, and the midwife is like, okay, so what do you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. They call a doctor in, the doctor comes in and looks at the reading. So that's what they're monitoring, looks at the reading and now says, oh wow, okay, you're not contracting that often, but the contraction is off the chart. So like, you know how you have a chart, like you have a graph and it looks like, oh God, what am I saying? I'm so tired. You have a graph and then it has the reading was off the scale basically. So it looks like a hill or whatever, and it's off the scale because it was basically off. What am I saying? You know what I'm saying. This is exhaustion. Anyway, whatever. So the doctor reads that and she goes, this lady needs pain medication because her contractions are really powerful. So then so she goes off, midwife is like, what do you want? And I'm just like, I don't know what I want. Tell me what are the options? So she's like, okay, I can give you Pethidine. I can give you blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, give me the Pethidine injection. So they give me that injection and it just, first of all, that thing just like knocked me out. First, I was talking gibberish, but it soothed. It like, I could still feel that I was contracting, but it took the edge off. So I was able to sleep. So they admitted me. I was able to sleep for a little bit. I was able to sleep actually through the night. And then I was so they take out the pessary that they put in the day before. So they put that in at 11 a.m. They take it out after 24 hours. So at 11 a.m. on the Wednesday, they took the pessary out. So they want to see for the next 6 hours if you're contracting by yourself. So I was still contracting by myself and they were still painful, but I couldn't take the same pain relief that close. So I don't know, I can't remember what they gave me. They gave me tablets, to be honest. I really don't remember. So I was just lying in bed, but they weren't that often. They were like every 10 minutes. And by like 6 p.m., they were every 10 minutes, but they were just pain, like the pain. I was just in pain, man. And so that happened, and so I called the midwife and I just said, you know, what's going to happen for the next stage. And they said the reason why they're not thinking about using the gel, because that's the next thing, is because I'm contracting by myself. So they want to see how that goes. So I'm there going, I am like in so much pain that, so is it just going to continue for another day or whatever? So she checks me and she's like, okay, you're just 1 centimeter dilated. And she was like, oh, but she was like, oh, you know, let's see what happens. Waited a couple of hours, maybe like 8 o'clock. Then they put the gel up there. So that's the next day. So they put some kind of gel. I don't know what is in the gel. I didn't really care. Then I now regretted asking that let's get a move on and you know, put the gel up there, because that gel, I don't know what is in that gel. That gel, oh my God. Oh, sweet Jesus. It was like everything just went from here to here. It was next level. By 10:30, I just could not even like, I was in a room with 3 other women. So you're like on the labor ward, but you're not in the labor area. And I was like, is it groaning, grunting? I was like, that's the kind of noise I was making. And my contractions lasted, like I said, 2 to 3 minutes. How do you, it gets to the point where you can't even make the sound anymore. It's just like pain, like, please put me out of my misery. You are literally mooing like a cow. There was some other lady too that was there mooing as well, so I didn't feel so bad. So yeah, that happened. And then 10:30, I was just like, I can't. I was like begging. I was like, please give me something. I can't take it. I can't take this pain. So they're like, okay, we'll give you Pethidine again. Now, they gave me the Pethidine again, and it took the edge off for an hour and a half. So by 12 o'clock, I was, this camera isn't straight. Oh God. Is that straight? Anyway. Okay, no, that looks weird, sorry. Oh, I'm getting sidetracked. So by 10 o'clock, by midnight, I was just, this thing is not even straight. Is he awake? Is he awake? Okay, I'll be back. All right. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, Wednesday midnight, the Pethidine basically lasted for an hour and a half, and the pain comes back and it's just even stronger. So like how I took the Pethidine the first time, basically this time it didn't work. Well, it did just for a little bit. And from midnight, Thursday morning, I am just screaming my head off, walking around the labor ward, because it seemed that when I was lying down, that the pain just seemed to be worse. So I'd walk, then I'd stop to have a contraction, scream, then keep walking. And then, so one of the midwives on night duty was just like, oh, how you doing, love? And I was just like, I can't take it. I can't take the pain. It's so bad. And she was like, what stage of your induction are you at? And I was like, well, I'm at part 2. So she's like, oh, well, you know, hopefully if you're dilated a bit more, maybe they'll break your waters tomorrow. And then she said, but if you're in this much pain, I suggest you ask them to give you epidural before they break your waters. So I'm thinking, why? And she's like, because she goes, if you're in this much pain now, she goes, it's only gonna get worse. So I was like, okay. So anyways, by 5 a.m. I'm ringing, you know, by the hospital beds, you have this thing so that you can call them. So I press the button and someone comes, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know if you could give me something else. I was like, I'm in so much pain. And, you know, they asked me when they put the gel, and I told them what time the day before and all that stuff. And they said, so the lady said, okay, you know what, I'm going to check. If you're like 2 centimeters dilated, then we'll be able to go and break your waters and then get things rolling. So bearing in mind, I was in there Tuesday night. This is now Thursday morning, right? Are you okay, sweetie? Are you okay? So, yeah, so she checks me and I am 2 to 3 centimeters dilated. And she's like, okay, so at like 7 a.m. they take me to one of the labor rooms, the room where you actually are gonna deliver and have the baby. And they give me the epidural. And now when they're giving the epidural, right? First of all, I thought it was just one of those things, they stick a needle in your back, it's all done, blah, blah, blah. You know, I heard that, you know, I mean, they're sticking a needle in your spine, technically. I say technically, I'm not sure, but they're sticking something in your spine, which is sharp. But what they do is, first of all, they use general anesthetic. So they're using injections and they're pricking you in different places to numb before they put the thing in. And that actually made me jerk. And all I kept thinking was, man, God, please, I hope I'm not paralyzed after this, because you're not supposed to move. I mean, there's a needle going into your spine. So they do that. They have my husband stand in front of me so he doesn't see what's going on behind. And then they tell you to arch your spine so that they can feel exactly where they need to put it. So the anesthetist would do the general anesthetic, and then she would, I don't know what she was doing. She was doing something, because she would say, where can you feel that? And I was like, I can feel that on my right hand side. And she was like, okay, to make sure that it was centered, because sometimes apparently, because this actually happened to my sister, where you get an epidural and it's only working on one side of your body, so you can feel pain on one side of your body. Who wants that? Like, the whole point of getting an epidural is to not feel pain. So to all my sisters out there that didn't need an epidural, good for you. Man, I was like, whatever they could give me, I would have taken. Like, I even tried gas and air. That gas and air is for the birds. That stuff doesn't work. I would be going, ooh. That's the kind of noise I was making. I think it's meant to, I think it's meant to distract you, but I'm like, it didn't work for me. Or maybe it did, who knows? But it just, to me, it didn't remove any pain. Maybe it just got me breathing better, who knows? So anyway, they do the epidural. That takes about 20 minutes. And then she walks past me with the tray, and there's blood all over the tray. And all I'm thinking is, and she goes, yeah, I know that it never dawns on people that when they get an epidural, there's going to be blood. There was like so much blood. I was like, what is going on? Anyway, that's by the by. So they give me the epidural, then I'm sitting in this bed, and they put like all these waterproof sheets underneath, and they break my waters. And if I was ever in any doubt about, how do you know if your waters break? It was like buckets was coming out of there. All right, I'm gonna have to pause this. Okay, guys, I'm back. It's now, I think I started trying to record very early this morning. It's now 7 minutes to 5 in the evening, and I've just, anyway, I've been busy, so, but I'm just trying to finish off this video, which is just so fragmented now. I don't even remember where I left off. But okay, I'm just gonna go back slightly. I remember saying that, so Thursday morning, okay, I spoke about the epidural. They broke my waters, and it was just like a bucket load. Like, there was so much water coming out, so much water. I was like, what is this? This is nuts. But I guess my belly was very big. So they told me that, yeah, you had a lot of amniotic fluid in there. And then, so time went on, and the epidural was, the epidural. Let's talk about the epidural. Once that thing kicked in, it was amazing. I was just sitting there chilling. It's like, forget about the pain from before. So I could feel like my stomach contracting, but I couldn't feel any pain from like my waist downwards. I could feel my legs though, but I couldn't feel the pain from the contractions. So I was just sitting there. They were checking me. I was 5 centimeters dilated. I was like, yes, honey. So this is now Thursday afternoon, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Basically, in a few hours, if I'm 5 centimeters dilated and I'm like contracting every 4 minutes, in a few hours, I'm gonna be able to pop this baby out just like that in no time. Think again. So there were about 3 midwives in the room. I'd been checked, and then a senior doctor came in. This older guy came in, and he walks in and then he checks me and to see how far I'm down. He asked them first, and he checks and all that kind of stuff. And then he looks at me and then he says, how tall are you? And I tell him, which is not very tall, obviously. And I tell him how tall I am. And then he's just like, he just looks at me and then he leaves the room. And I'm like, okay. Oh gosh. There's someone's at the front door. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay. Then he disappears. And about an hour later, he comes back and he says, oh, somebody said they could feel the head when they put their hand up there, blah, blah, blah. And then he says to me, how tall are you again? And then I tell him again, and then he leaves the room again. And I say to the midwife, why does he keep asking me that question? And she's like, oh, you know, because of the size of the baby and your size and all of that. I'm like, okay. This guy comes back in and he says to me, look, my dear, I'm just going to be straight with you. Your size, he goes, I've checked your pelvis, where the baby's head is not even, like, he was like, the baby's head is not coming down there. He goes, I can tell you that. He goes, look, we can wait a couple of hours and see if the head actually drops, but your baby is, he was like, your size and the size of your baby is not going to come out that way, that you need to brace yourself for a C-section. And I'm like, say what now? So you mean you've induced me and I've spent 48 hours screaming and shouting in pain for you to turn around and give me a C-section? Are you having a laugh? So I'm like, okay, let's wait the 2 hours. So they kind of like tilt me in the chair to see if, you know, the baby's head would drop even more and all that kind of stuff. But I just braced myself for it. And, you know, one of somebody who's watched my vlogs actually said, because I said I had a dream a few weeks ago or quite a while ago where the baby's leg came out of my stomach, and then someone wrote a comment on YouTube, on my YouTube page, and said, oh, that probably means that you're gonna have a C-section. And it's quite funny because, well, that's what ended up happening. So 2 hours later he comes in and obviously there's no change, and they're like, right, time to go to theatre. So they take me to theatre, operating theatre, and it was literally something out of like ER or Grey's Anatomy. For you younger peeps that don't know what ER is, the show ER. Anyway, and literally just see like all the lights and stuff, and then there's like 15 people in the room, and it's like, okay, roll call, this person, anesthetist, everyone's just talking, blah, blah, blah. And because I already had an epidural, they just put in the different drug to numb the rest of your body, like from here downwards for the C-section. So let me tell you a little bit about the C-section. So we're there, my husband is in there in scrubs, and so he has to sit where my head is, because obviously you don't want him to see them slice you open and just see all your bits hanging out. And they basically, what did they do? Yeah, so they give me the thing through the epidural or whatever it is. Your body's numb because they're now spraying this like icy cold spray on you to see if you can feel it. So the lady was like, can you feel this? Can you feel this? No, 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 no. Okay, good to go, good to go. On the left, there's like a timer. It took an hour and 10 minutes from start to finish. I remember that. Very efficient. It was amazing. And they kept saying, oh, you're very calm, you're very calm. Oh, okay. So, oh, sorry. So you're lying down, and then they put a sheet, like this green sheet or screen from here, like this way. So you can't see what's happening from like your chest downwards, because you don't want to see them slicing you open. So, you know, they now say, oh, we've made the first incision. They talk you through it. And then they're like, oh, you're very calm. But also the anesthetist and other people in the room are trying to talk to you to distract you and all of that. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, so we're going to try and get the baby out now. They make the incision, and then they start, like, you can feel your whole body moving. They start pressing on your stomach. Like I just felt like someone pushing to push the baby out and then to pull the baby out, because basically they're cutting like where your bikini line is and they're taking the baby out. And I'm just feeling my body like actually physically moving. So it's major surgery, and not just that, they're basically like, it's not like they're soft, they're really getting in there, you know what I mean? So they do that, and then they take him out, and then all you hear is, oh, he's a big boy. And then they bring him up over the screen, and he's crying. And my husband and I are just like, wow. It was the most surreal, amazing, beautiful moment ever. Like, you know when you're just stunned, and he's just like, so I was lying there, he's sitting there, he's just like, wow, baby's crying. They take him over, give him a bit of a clean. They say, oh, do you want to see how much he weighs? They weigh him, 9 pounds. How's I gonna have a 9-pound baby? Have you seen me? 9-pound baby was supposed to come out of my hoo-ha. A 9-pound baby. 9 pounds. 9 pounds. 9 pounds. Will my stomach ever be the same again? So they say 9 pounds, congratulations. And then they bring him over skin to skin. So they put him on my chest. And it was just, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. Then give him to daddy. Daddy holds him, and it was just great. And then they stitch me back up and go back into the hospital room, recovery room. So it doesn't end there. So we go back to the recovery room, and when they give you those kind of drugs like epidural and stuff, because I've had surgery before about my fibroids, I think I mentioned that, you end up being really cold. So they had to put like 3 sheets on me. I was like, I'm really cold, I'm really cold, I'm really cold. And then I start shivering and I'm like, I'm really cold. And then my mom is like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I'm shivering to the point where it looks like I'm having a fit, because I'm shivering so much. I'm like, I don't say levitating off the bed, but basically like my body is literally, I'm flopping around like a fish, basically. It got that bad. So my mom starts screaming, something's wrong with my daughter, and I didn't want her to freak out. So I kept saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And obviously I wasn't fine. And everyone, they were just looking at me like, what is going on? And then the midwife comes in and she's like, oh no, it's the effect of the epidural. And my mom was like, why is she, look what's wrong with her? And I'm there going, I'm fine. And then they go and then they bring, I can't remember what they injected something, I don't know if it was paracetamol or something. They're like, no, we just, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. They do something and literally I just suddenly calmed down. I'm like awake through all of this. And I'm just thinking, what? Like, it was the most bizarre experience. And then they check me. I now have a temperature, which can happen. So they give me some cool towels to bring my temperature down. Then what happened after that? So that's a Thursday. Then, oh yes. So the following day, so everything's fine and everything's great. And then the following day, the doctors come and they do their rounds. And this is where they actually tell you what happened in the operating theatre. So they're not going to tell you on the day, they tell you afterwards. So they say, okay, this happened and your surgery was smooth. And they said, oh, but there was a lot of bleeding when they went in and basically took out one of my organs and had to sew some stuff and put it back. They took something out of my body. They took it out to sew it, to put it back in. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, you're bleeding a lot. And I guess that's why God did not allow me to have a push birth, because if I was, I've got, like I said, I've got fibroids, I've had surgery before, so there's scar tissue, all that stuff. I pushed and then there was like some bleeding and then I still had to go in for an operation, that would have been much worse. So I just thank God that I'm safe and alive and well and all that stuff. And then the other thing, so they do that, then they're checking you. And my stomach, apart from that, my stomach, I still look like I was 6 months pregnant. I mean, it's the day after, fine, fair enough. My stomach was like, I don't know how to say this. It was like it looked like little hills. That sounds wrong. But it was just like lopsided somehow. So I now said, but why does my stomach, and it was like soft in places, hard in places. I was like, why does my stomach look like this? And they were like, oh yeah, your stomach is distended and, so they were pressing it and they were like, okay, yes, it's distended, so your organs, we can feel your organs. So they were like, okay, here is your colon, here is your this, here's your uterus, here is your... And they're like, oh, it's because you had a C-section and also the type of surgery you had. So you not only do you have a C-section, but we had to take out one of your organs and do some stuff and then put it back in. So you're probably going to heal a bit slower than other people. So it's going to take at least 6 weeks for your stomach to kind of go back to the way it was. So I was like, so you mean people are going to ask me if I'm still pregnant, like in a few weeks' time, because my stomach is still ginormous, basically. So yeah, that was that. And then after that, what happened? Everything else was fine. We went through the whole breastfeeding thing, and I'll talk about that in another vlog, because I'm going to do the first 2 weeks of me being a mum, what that's been like, which has been very interesting as well. So that's it. That's my labor story. 48 hours, a C-section, and my 9-pound baby. And I'm so in love. And I couldn't have asked for more. It was worth all the pain, all the aggro, the 10 months of carrying him, my little prince. God is so good. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.